overall, what do you think about everything that's happening? The fight's not being made.
The business side and all that stuff.
And who do you think is at fault?
So, I used to always say it was just. I think they both have had a role to play, but I would say like the lion's share of the blame falls on Spence. The reason I say it falls on Spence is because when Crawford was at 140, Crawford always made his intentions clear. He wanted to fight Errol Spence. Errol said, "Go get a belt," and then he got a belt, and then Errol said he ain't fought nobody. He's on the wrong side of the street, you know, all that type of stuff. Then now Errol's been saying like for years, like for years he said he wouldn't fight Keith Thurman. And this fight fell through. And who's he going to fight? Keith Thurman. Now, people want to say, well, Terence was talking to BLK Prime or whatever for the Avanesian fight since June. But he even said it himself. He told them initially that he didn't want the Avanesian fight, but it was in his back pocket if this didn't, of course, happen.
You gotta be ready.
You gotta understand too.
It's a business.
You gotta understand his position. He's not the PBC fighter. He's the foreigner in this situation. He's the guy coming to Spence. PBC is his backyard. So obviously they're gonna do what's in the best interest of Spence. So Terence he made sure that he had a backup plan in case it fell through, and here we are.
There you go. Not only that,
it doesn't really matter whose fault it is. Though the ones getting screwed over are the fans.
The fans, and at the end of the day. Aside from putting so much pressure on the fighters, also the people with their hands in the cookie jar, promoters.
Truth be told,
Haymon.
That's really who's at fault.
That's really the problem. That's what I be telling him. Stop blaming these damn fighters, man. At the end of the day, these fighters will fight anybody. Of course, they want to protect their own, right? But Al Haymon is really the problem.
Crawford wants to protect his own.
No, you're wrong. But Crawford was calling for Spence before Spencer even said anything about him.
But I agree, though. It's the promoter's fault. I think they want to fight each other.
You got to ask the question: How did Showtime and PBC and all parties involved? How did they have all this money for Jake Paul and Canelo Plant? How did Plant get $10 million, but we can't come up with $10 million for Crawford and $10 million for Spence?
Yeah,
come on. I understand it's a business, but like, I kind of don't. I also don't understand it either because. While you're telling me it's a business and we gotta be, financially savvy, y'all wasn't financially savvy when you were putting on Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin on pay-per-view. So why are we not making it happen?
Right. Yeah. No. There's things that I feel like we don't know. To be honest.
Yeah. We're not in the negotiating room.
Because there's things I understand boxing. I understand the backside of boxing, but man, there's things that in this fight, man, it's just dirty. I just don't get it.
There's one thing
why
to
it's
it.
Not happening.
Greed. That's it.
Absolutely.
Greed.
Yeah.
The lust for power and
I have the more balls than you, and we're gonna do it like this. Like, who's gonna be the A side? Who's gonna be the B side? It's all greed, bro. It's all. And unfortunately, when that fight, that's if it even happens. It's gonna be too late.
But accept it being the B side, though.
Are you sure about that?
100%.
Yeah, I am too.
100%.
But again, we don't know what goes on. He can say that, but we don't know.
Stop with the bullshit.
But it's true though. You just said right now. We don't know what goes on in closed doors.
You're such a Spence fanboy, bro.
No, I'm not. No.
It's disappointing, bro. But whatever. Let's go back to the fight.
We're not in that room.
Let's stop talking about the dirty stuff we have no control over. If the fight happens,
oh come on,
how does Crawford win?
Oh, you know how it's gonna end. It's gonna end the way his last 8 fights have ended, by stoppage. He ain't gone the distance with anybody since the freaking Barack Obama administration.
But again though,
that's my boy right there.
Yeah, he's knocked out his last 8 opponents, but who was his last opponent?
His last opponent was John Porter, the guy Errol Spence didn't stop.
And not only that, the guy that gave Errol Spence a razor thin split decision. If it wasn't for that knockdown, we might not be talking about Spence right now.
That's right.
Bro,
that's my guy too. I love. Shout out to Sean Porter.
Yeah, I know you do.
Everybody that Sean Porter fights is an ugly fight.
Yeah,
regardless of who it is.
100%.
And I think Ugas beat him.
I thought so too.
I thought so too.
I thought you were gonna say something else.
No,
I know. Porter's his boy though, Salas.
No, Porter's good, but he lost. He lost. That's another thing.
But it was a close fight though. It was a
close fight.
It was a close fight, and I don't really want to call it a robbery either. I think it was just. The wrong guy won, but it wasn't a robbery because it wasn't he won by no, it was a close fight.
Well, going back to the fight, so you think Crawford knocks Spence out?
Yeah.
Why? Why do you see that
because
he knocks him out?
I don't know why Errol has these lapses in fights, like he had it in the Ugas fight. Remember when he kind of looked down and the Ugas hit him with the right hand and the ropes held him up? And then I think it was a Danny Garcia fight. He had another similar thing that happened as well. You can't have those lapses with Crawford, and not even just that. I just think even though he's like you said earlier before we started the show, he's a very technically sound fighter, and the output of that jab is great,
consistent.
But I just think Crawford's gonna time him and he's gonna hit him with something vicious, like, and it's Errol Spence. Errol Spence not gonna know what to do with himself.
I just think that, I mean, I've said this so many times, I didn't want to say it. I just think Crawford adapts very well. He adjusts, he adapts to his opponent, and yeah, he may not be a fast starter, but after that third round, we always see Crawford adapt and figure it out, man. And I think he's gonna figure out that puzzle. And when he smells blood,
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
The thing is, I don't see that he's gonna smell blood in this case.
How? I
think Spence is
if
gonna outbox him.
If Ugas was able to put his back on the rope, how do you not see Crawford doing the same or worse?
Because he's gonna come 100% more focused.
So he wasn't 100% for Ugas.
But going back to the fight with
that was best looking years.
Shit happens. Shit happens in the fight game. I don't think he's gonna make that mistake again.
Okay.
And if it does happen, I think he's gonna recuperate how he does, because he recuperates really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And bro,
well, if it happens the way Ugas' situation happened, his ass will be on the but his ass will end on the floor, 100%. Because Crawford is not going to take those 2 seconds to think about why are you not looking at me, because Crawford's going to capitalize on that moment.
Those two shits were they were flukes. They were like kind of weird. But I don't think it's going to happen again.
No, the only fluke was what Spence did. Not
with the mouth guard and then with Danny Garcia as well.
Do you guys think maybe he's having these lapses because like those two lapses were the accident, because those 2 lapses happened in fights after the accident?
I don't know why. I just know it's happening.
Yeah.
And against somebody like Crawford, that's a problem. But aside from all these other tangibles, I think it's also the fact that Crawford's feet are faster. He is the better boxer. He's quicker. He is quicker. I think he hits harder than Spence. So many things that I see on Crawford's side. I do think, though, Crawford has been hit more than Spence has. His defense may be a little bit more vulnerable.
He likes to fight in exchange.
Yes, he likes to bang. But even then, Spence is not this one-hitter quitter type of guy either. He knocks his guys out by, constant pressure, and, he punishes.
Systematically breaks you down. Exactly. The thing, too, is Crawford, the thing that nobody talks about Crawford is his physical strength, because he's really matured into a really solid welterweight. Right. He's the only guy, I think, at welterweight. Well, maybe not now, but for years I thought he's the only guy at welterweight that could, kind of like not allow Spence to muscle him on the inside, because that's the one advantage he normally has over everybody. Crawford's very physically strong. People forget that this guy was like a wrestler, like he's like really good at wrestling and stuff. So he's really good on the inside and not getting pushed back.
I mean, he looks like a thin dude, man. And bro, I've seen him deadlift over 405 pounds. So he's a strong guy.
Well, in this fight, bro, Spence, coming off that big accident that he had, recuperating, etc., doing his physical training and all that stuff, physical therapy, him fighting his first fight, Danny Garcia. A lot of people say it's a tailor-made tune-up fight for him, but still, Danny Garcia is Danny Garcia.
Yeah, he's a good fighter.
And then beating him, getting through him, and then fighting Ugas. That says a lot about him. He's a dog.
But I don't have no disrespect for
Crawford
Spence.
I like Crawford a lot,
I like Spence, too.
But Crawford, who has he been fighting, bro? If you think about it, 140, but who?
But
Postal?
Well, he fought anybody that was in front of him. But again, and he beat them all.
I mean, he's got common opponents with Spence.
Porter.
So who do you think has the better resume? You think Crawford has a better resume than Spence?
At 147 overall.
No, at 147 is Spence.
It's definitely Spence at 47.
Overall,
though.
I think Crawford's resume is actually pretty underrated. People like to trash his resume because it doesn't have like the name value that Spence has. But like, you got to remember, Crawford, the way he got known was when he fought was it Prescott on 2 weeks notice.
On 2 weeks
notice. Then after he fought,
and that fight was at 140, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't at 135.
Yeah, he went up in weight. Then he won his world title in England against Ricky Burns. Everybody said Ricky Burns isn't that good, but Ricky Burns was like the best guy in that weight class at the time. Burns had a close fight before that fight with Ray Beltran, who people thought beat Ricky Burns. Crawford then, after beating Ricky Burns, fought Ray Beltran, Postal, Felix Diaz is another one.
Postal was on a wreck on that moment. He
destroyed
Matisse. Yes, he was on a wreck.
I actually interviewed Crawford the week of the because I went to Hank Lundy fight when he fought Hank Lundy, and I remember I asked him about fighting Postal, and people at that time were talking about, Crawford's not gonna fight Postal, and I asked him about it. He's like, man, that's just for they're just saying all that for show. I'll fight him, and then he fought him and he whooped him, and then now
he whooped his ass.
Postal's a nobody, right? But then Postal fought Jose Ramirez, right? And he gave Jose Ramirez all he could handle.
Right.
I think the output of Spence's jab is going to play the big role in this fight.
Listen, man.
It could.
That jab.
It's a great jab.
That jab needs to be on point consistently. Keep on pressuring with his high guard.
He needs to get to that body. He had to get to that body, too.
He needs to get to that body, too.
I do think Spence is a better inside fighter. I think that once he's inside, he can do better work.
And he's going to be the bigger fighter in there. Yeah, he's gonna be the bigger fighter. Now, stronger,
Back
I
to-
don't know, but
okay, there you go.
It's true, but big, he's gonna be the bigger one.
Yeah, he's bigger. He's a bigger man, naturally.
And that also plays a role. What
that-
happens when he's pressuring Crawford?
But if you're bigger and not stronger, the size means shit.
Yeah, but that volume punching. And
Look
one
at,
thing a lot of people don't say, Crawford's face swells up really bad. It swells up.
No,
He gets
not
touched up
really.
in his. Yeah, it swells.
No, when have we seen him badly swelled?
He really hasn't had nobody like Spence. So when Spence gets in that ring
So now,
with him,
you're just making an assumption because when
No, I'm
have we
not
ever
making
seen
an
Crawford swelled up like you just said?
I'm gonna prove you that now when they fight. That
Yeah, but you just said that he swells up easily. When?
yeah, he does.
Which fight?
He always has lumps.
Where are the facts, bro? When has he been swelled up?
Do I gotta take out the pictures out right now?
Bring him out.
I'm bringing them out right now.
I haven't seen him swelled
I'll
up.
bring them out right now. I got you.